Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining special coverage here on Two-Way of the shooting of Charlie Kirk. We want this to be a place where people can have conversations like no other, and we're going to sample a lot of the coverage together, and we're going to have this conversation. It's going to be difficult for me. I interviewed Charlie yesterday, and he's everyone hopes he'll survive. But the video of the shooting suggests a pretty serious thing. The Associated Press says he's in critical condition. Shot at Utah Valley University at an event. He was doing his first event of his tour, only the latest of the tours he does around the country, speaking to young people. We'll show you some of my interview with him yesterday, and we're going to sample the coverage. Let's go to Fox right now. I'd just like to listen to how Fox is framing things here at the top of the hour at 4 o'clock Eastern time. So go ahead and throw up the Fox News coverage, please.
Yesterday, who was here with us on this show 24 hours ago. The only answer is you do not do a show, you be a human being, and I do my best to provide you the latest information about Charlie Kirk. The communications director of Turning Point USA has asked our team to give a moment of silence and prayer. And so we are going to do that right now. We're going to pause and offer our prayer. We hope you join along. However, and to whomever you pray, I hope in this moment you
Drop
can
that
pray
down
for Charlie
So,
Kirk.
I think most of you know who Charlie Kirk is. President, the vice president are close personal friends of his. Young man, self-made. And I've done long interviews with him on, he's been on Two-Way, he's also been on Next Up, and including yesterday. And there's no one like him in American life. There's no one like him who's the hybrid, hosts a popular show, tours the country, does in-person events, but also an activist. And what he did to contribute to President Trump's victory in 2024 was historic. People said that Turning Point USA, his organization, didn't know how to do voter registration, voter turnout, and they did. And a lot of people would give credit. Charlie was always modest during the campaign, saying, you know, we're just doing our part. But I have no doubt that the margin of victory in some of those battleground states was provided by Charlie and his organization. There's videos online showing the shooting. I have no reason to believe they're not authentic. It would be a miracle if those videos are real, if Charlie survived this. But he was near a hospital, and he's, according to the Associated Press, he's at the hospital. I pray he's in critical condition. That'd be fantastic if he's in critical condition, truly. This will be, regardless of how this turns out for Charlie, this will be an historical event for the right. And I can tell you that whether Charlie lives or not, there'll be people on the right who are furious. And they'll be furious regardless of the motivation of the shooter. They'll be furious. They will want retribution, and they'll be angry. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was on with Megyn Kelly a little while ago, and I spoke twice about Charlie in the past tense, and I hope never to do it again. And I hope to be able to laugh with him about my having done that. But this needs to be a time to bring the country together, regardless of what happens. And I can tell you there's going to be very few platforms who do that. There's been, in the last hour, some disgusting coverage on MSNBC. I overused that word, but this was truly disgusting. Charlie's shooting will be politicized, because that's what happens. And I'm not against politicization, the way some people are, but I'm against politicization that needlessly divides the country. Charlie said things in his career, he said things that were inflammatory, and we'll see the whole list. But he's involved in national life because he cares about the future of the country, and he is a brilliant guy, and in his 30s has already become an historical figure. And if he doesn't make it, I'm hoping that people use the opportunity to bring the country together. And I think that's possible, but I don't think it's automatic. And I can tell from my Twitter feed and my inbox that the anger people feel about having been shot, it's going to raise a lot of questions about security, about anyone who's on the national town square, go to a college campus, speak at a rally, Go to a TV studio where your appearance on the show is promoted. There's going to be a boom for the security industry, without a doubt, personal security. But beyond that, there's going to have to be a reckoning of what it means to be on the national town square and what Charlie's life has been about. Why has he done what he's done? And there's no doubt he's been a divisive figure. He's a lovely man. He is a lovely man. So my colleagues are going to be here. I'll ask my colleagues off camera to bring folks in. I see Dan is here, so bring Dan in. Bring any of our colleagues on camera who are here. And we're going to continue to monitor the coverage. And we'll show you some of that. And we'll bring you in. So if you want to be in on the conversation, questions, comments, please raise your hand if you're on the two-way platform. Not a day when I feel I should have to say no smack in the chat, but please, let's set an example for the rest of the media and the rest of the country to be a place that talks about this with humanity and civility, whether you like Charlie or not, didn't like what he's done in his career. Let's be positive about this moment. He's a man of great faith and a great believer in the goodness of America, and let's make him proud. Dan, I know you've been monitoring stuff. I'd love to hear your thoughts about how to turn this shooting into a great moment for the country.
I think one of the things that Charlie should be applauded for and has been applauded for is he went to college campuses. He got young people into politics, engaged in political debate, engaged in the national forum. I'm stunned that all 4 of our kids just got out of school and access to their phones, and all 4 kids texted, "Did you hear Charlie Kirk was shot? Is he going to be okay?" These are not political people in any way, shape, or form, but they know who he is. He connected with people of all walks of life, into politics or not. I mean, the fact that he was at an Ask Me Anything, he loved to debate. I mean, he just loved it, which is what you should want.
Dan, I'm sorry to stop you, and I've already apologized for doing it myself. We're talking about Charlie in the present tense here.
Yes. Yeah. No. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm not. You didn't, but I'm just. Okay. I'm enforcing that. But go ahead. Sorry.
So I just, Gabby Giffords was hosting a kind of Ask Me Anything on the corner of a mall in Tucson when she was shot. And
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Bring Fox back on, please. Jason Chaffetz, former congressman,
he was there
at the event.
I've been watching this.
Is back on Facts, so let's listen to that, please.
Came from, it looks like that's where his vehicle came in so he could walk in. In fact, when he was coming into the arena, you could see it in that shot. See back behind there, the blue, that's how he walked in, and that's how they walk out, but it's totally covered. The crowd was such that there were people that were gathered above Charlie, and the police had moved them back to the sides. But this is probably 95% student age, younger than 30 years old. There were some people in the community like me that were there because it was Charlie Kirk and it was Turning Point. We wanted to see it. But mostly it was college age people that were there. And the beauty of what Charlie does is he lets anybody, no matter where you are in the political spectrum, come up, let's have a discussion. There's nothing more American than that. And so to have this happen, I'm still in shock that we're having this discussion. Well,
I am as well, Jason. It is, sad and poetic
Mark,
illustration that Charlie standing under an awning that reads "Prove me wrong," taking on all comers who wants to have a dialogue with him as he's done on college campus.
Charlie and what's happened.
I'm sorry. I hope it's not like I was not crying earlier, and I just everybody I love or who is important in my life is controversial and speaks for money in one way or another. And Charlie is one of the best. He's so kind. He's so nice. Just anecdotally, a few months ago, one of my oldest friends, her son is 16 and he's like amazing. And goes to church and he's doing really incredible in sports. And he knows what college he wants to go to. And he has this really amazing life. And I said, how did you do it? Because I have kids. And she said, honestly, it's Charlie Kirk and Turning Point. that he listened. He's like a disciple of Charlie Kirk. And I was like, that's incredible. And I messaged him, and he sent my friend's son this big gift box and signed hat and a personal letter written, signed by him, and all these things from Turning Point. And, you know, he's a lot of times people sometimes in the movement don't like people like me because I've had a complicated relationship with Trump over my life. And he's always the most uniting of anyone in, I would say, like the commentary space, and really, you know, been so supportive of Tulsi and so many people I know. And like, nobody has a bad thing to say about him. He's a lovely person, and he's just one of the best. He's one of the best. He just is. He's kind, never snaps at anybody. Everybody knows what reputations are like behind the scenes. He has an incredible one. And I'm sorry, I'm not being more eloquent. It's so shocking. And I just don't understand why things like this are happening. And I saw some of the stuff MSNBC was saying, and Katie Tur should be fired today. She should be fired. There's no place for stuff like that right now. And I just don't understand why, you know, I don't want to make it political, but I understand why the left can't ever just be decent in times like this. And I'm sorry, I don't think I can stay a full hour because I'm just like so emotional, but it's awful.
Megan, a couple of things. First of all, everything you said about Charlie's true. Not that you need my validation. And here's what I want to say about Katie Turn. I had the same reaction you did, but this is where I wanted a two-way to try to intercede. She was on live TV. She was reacting with MSNBC muscles. I don't want her fired. I want the country to come together over this. And if this becomes,
okay, I want her to apologize.
yeah. Again, I say this with respect to you because I know why you said what you said, and a lot of people will say it. If this moment is the right saying the left should be eliminated because Charlie got shot, it's going to not go to a great place. So I say with respect to you and to everybody else who's got strong feelings about this, as I do, let's let both sides try to come together on this and not turn it into another reason to have a war.
Well, Fox is showing Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom, Ken Martin. I mean, they're all saying the right things online. Kamala Harris there.
Okay, Robby, welcome in. I'd love to get your thoughts about what's happened and what you make of it so far.
Sure. You know, I echo the comments that Dan and Megan and you have made about what an exceptional individual Charlie is. His achievements are unbelievable in how he predicted the movement of conservatism onto social media and onto a podcasting format. His willingness to host any conversation with anyone and turn it as an opportunity to convert and to inspire is an impulse that has really taken over the conservative movement in a very healthy way. And he was part of building that from the beginning, inspiring students. I met so many conservative activists who've been inspired by him. I would just add that, you know, this has happened at a time where so many of us probably had to watch, you know, horrific video of a woman being stabbed on a train, because this was a major topic of conversation, and just the level of violence we have all had to kind of grapple with seems just really awful. And political violence is a bad thing, and we're lucky to live in a country where it doesn't happen more regularly, and we certainly do not want this to be the beginning of it occurring more regularly. We quite literally dodged a bullet when President Trump was only very minorly injured by an assassin's bullet, but that could have gone very differently. So I think it is absolutely vital to urge caution and bringing people together and talk about the importance of lively, spirited debate and free speech, and not solving things with violence, whether you're on the right, the left, the center, whether you have ideas that don't map at all evenly onto any kind of political tradition. We are very lucky to not suffer from excess political violence, and it is on all of us to condemn it in whatever form. And I'm so grateful to see people, Democrats and others, who are, of course, doing the right thing.
All right. So Robby, so beautifully said and so eloquent. So grateful to you for being here. Folks, Charlie loved news. Love news.
Might disagree.
And I'll tell you, I've got four people now telling me that he's not made it. I'm not reporting that he's passed away, but if you've seen the videos and if you knew the quality of people saying this to me, let's all prepare for Charlie not to make it. Okay, let's all prepare for that.
your experience?
And I'll say again, I'm being forwarded tweets of people on the left and people on the right behaving horribly. It's a personal tragedy for his family and for those who knew him. And again, the president and the vice president will be deeply affected by this, deeply affected. But if we let this be a war, it's going to go to a very bad place. And it's not what Charlie would have wanted. If he does pass away, it's not what he would have wanted. And I can tell you, he's great shape, didn't drink, didn't stay up late, great shape. But it's very difficult to imagine, based on what I've seen and what I've now heard, that he will make it. And I just see all the commentary on the left and on the right now. It's horrible. And I'm not asking for mourning and no politics, because it's going to be a political discussion. What I'm asking for is presumption of grace and a recognition that both sides have made a lot of mistakes. Long running war, and if he doesn't make it, he's going to be one of the most important and emotional casualties of this. Okay, bunch of stuff we could do here. Let's open up and take questions from the community. I'd ask everybody to be short, eager to hear what's on your mind. Dan and Robbie and Megan will respond, and we've got some videos we can show you, but I want to get you folks in, and please just remember the tone I'm asking everybody to have about this. Let's start with Meg. Meg, welcome in. Unmute. Tell us what's on your mind about Charlie.
Hey guys, thanks for calling on me, Mark. I so appreciate your guys's reactions to this.
You know Charlie Kirk? And I say, yes, I'm friends with Charlie Kirk. A lot of young people, when I meet them last weekend.
Well, hold on. What's that, folks? Okay, go ahead.
Charlie Kirk. What is it about Charlie Kirk
That may be Fox News.
in Utah?
Yeah, can you take the Fox down, please? Ask the director to take the Fox down. And Meg, go ahead.
Right now, and I feel the weight of the historicness of the moment, no matter what happens. And I just feel so sad at like the country, and I appreciate.
Meg, I'm going to mute you because we're having a little bit of trouble with your audio. Hold on. Meg,
display as a journalist, despite your closeness with Charlie. Like, sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
I just really appreciate the sobriety you bring to the news, Mark. But this is such a historic moment, and I feel that in my heart, not just as like a citizen, but as a person. And I don't know what the next steps are for the country. We don't know, but my heart is so broken. My heart is broken, and I don't know how to, like, I logged on to you guys because I didn't know who to like go to in my life to process this. And so I'm grateful you all are here, but how do we even process this as a country?
Okay,
Meg,
Meg,
I don't even know like the steps.
Meg, thank you. A little hard to hear you. Guys, I'm having trouble muting Meg. If you can do that for me. Let's bring in Andrew. Andrew, welcome in. Tell folks what's on your mind after you unmute.
Well, we were told less than an hour ago that the Situation Room and the National Rubio, who's also the Secretary of State, were actively monitoring this.
Guys, hold on. Okay, got to kill that audio, guys. Okay, Andrew, welcome in.
Hey, Mark. Nice to see you, despite the circumstances. This is one of those things that I think you'll always, I'll certainly always remember where I was. I had the good fortune of meeting Charlie several times. But just, as awful as this is, a family man with, I believe, 2 children, the temperature, what I'm seeing on X and on some of these news channels is just out of control. I mean, where is the decency in this country? A guy, 2 children, a wife, and people just going to the worst possible places.
Yeah.
And, where do we go from here? It is a sad, sad day.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Megan, I'd love for you to unmute and talk to Andrew or say what you think about what Andrew just said.
So, I'm a follower of Christ. So was Charlie. I've been praying since I heard this. It's the only thing we can do right now, and I do think it's what he would want. I don't know the answer because clearly Mark had to scold me about not going after an MSNBC host. But
Megan, it's really hard to hear you. People are saying it in the chat too. I know I'm having a really hard time hearing you.
I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Is that better? Sorry.
Yeah.
I had my husband's mic. I just said I'm a follower of Christ, so was Charlie, and he would want us to pray. Even if you aren't a praying person, I still think it's the only thing you can really do right now. I don't know if it's inappropriate for me to even be on camera right now. I was really fine before I came on, but I'm just overcome with emotion on this. It's so bad for the country. It's so bad for everything. And, you know, I want the temperature to be toned down more than anyone, just like everybody else does. But the other side has to do it too. And, you know, Matt Dowd was just on MSNBC saying that he deserved it. So it's like,
Okay, Megan, I'm sorry. Let's play the Matt Dowd thing, not to inflame things, but to have
not
a
trying to,
conversation.
but
No, I didn't say you. I didn't say you were. I didn't say.
And
you
again,
were, but
I
want people to see it. I want people to see it.
I'm very emotional, and if I'm too emotional, I can get off the show. It's like
we want you. We want you right here. We want you right here. I want to play the Matt Dowd thing, which will be played all over conservative media, and people will attack him. Let's extend the presumption of grace. It's live, and he's got a certain mindset. We're going to play it, but again, I want to be clear. We're not playing it to inflame. We're playing it to have a conversation about it, to understand how somebody did such a thing in these circumstances. Please play Matt Dowd on MSNBC.
Following up with what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
Okay. Love to hear Robby, Dan, and Megan comment on that, please.
Yeah, I have been very consistent on this, and I think it is so important. The temptation to blame someone else's speech for violent actions taken by another, it is a temptation that everyone has fallen prey to, both political sides fall prey to. Obviously, we can go back to the Gabrielle Gifford shooting, where the mainstream media and so many Democrats were, insistent that it was Sarah Palin's fault, and then later it was conclusively demonstrated it had absolutely nothing. The shooter was not connected in any way to conservatives, and it wouldn't have mattered if he had watched Fox or whatever, because we are responsible for the actions we take, not putting it on someone else. There was plenty of that from Republicans when Donald Trump was targeted. It is a temptation everyone succumbs to, or both political tribes succumb to, that I'm always urging against. People should be, for their own violent actions, are responsible for them and must be held accountable. And we have to talk about ways to make our society safer for everyone. We should not be blaming speech. We don't do that anymore. The Enlightenment tradition, post-Enlightenment tradition that we live in, is you get to say what you want, and people can criticize you for that. And that is what Charlie Kirk's life was dedicated to that venture, right? That is how he became so big and influential. Go ahead. Sorry.
I apologize. Let's take Fox News, please. They're talking to an eyewitness.
Really well said, Robby.
Yeah, Robby, thank you. I'm sorry to cut you off. I want to hear this. Go ahead.
He was talking to him about how he was going to ask about transgenderism or something like that, but nothing about shootings. And this is the irony that came to me, which was like, right when he asked that, not like 5-10 seconds later, he was shot. And not only that, right after that, someone confessed to it who had no weapon, which makes me think that it was clearly a setup and that multiple people were involved. So, but prior to that, that's all I saw, because everyone was squirming.
Did you see anybody fire a shot?
I didn't see anyone fire a shot. I think it had to come from an elevated position for sure. And I think it had to have been a long rifle based off of how, so Charlie was like 10 yards in front of me from where my microphone was. So even if you have a pistol, if someone was talking about a pistol and all this stuff and shooting, it's hard to just hit an accurate shot with a pistol from 20 yards away. So it sounded like a 22 rifle to me, my perspective, but it had to have come from an elevated position. It couldn't have been anywhere. Someone would have saw someone pull out a gun, and the person that confessed didn't have anything on him. So they're still looking for the shooter right now, is what a firefighter just told me like about 10 minutes ago.
All right, horrific details there.
Let's take that down. Let's take that down.
And Jason Chaffetz had a similar description earlier today.
Yeah. Okay. Let's bring one of the most thoughtful people in our community and who I know, Ray Cano, journalist from Ohio. Ray, I'd love to hear your thoughts about what's happening and then have my colleagues respond.
Thanks, Mark. Sorry, I had to stop. I'm actually in the middle of writing a column for a national pub on this, but from my point of view, and this might seem counterintuitive, I want people to be furious. I don't want them to be furious in a way that causes more violence, but I want them to be really, really pissed off if, in fact, he doesn't make it, and what this does to two beautiful little children and a wife that he leaves behind. I want them to scream at the top of their lungs about where we've gotten as a country, where we simply can't have disagreements and talk about policy without violence getting in the way. More than that, I don't want people to forget, because that's our problem as human beings. We forget. We've already forgotten pretty much about the Minnesota lawmakers that were slaughtered just under 2 months ago. Even though at the top of our mind, we know about Trump's assassination attempts, we don't really talk about that much. And you can go down the list. We forget about these things, and it doesn't matter what it is. We should not forget. We should remember that this is what happens. This is a tremendous damage that not only happens to a man and his family, but to our country when we cannot get our shit together. Excuse the profanity.
And it's well said.
Dan, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's well said. And I think the other part of that is, don't forget, increasingly, federal judges are begging for more security. They are talking about the number of threats that they are receiving. There was the judge down in Texas, I think it was, who the person walked in and shot him. I agree with you, Ray, that at some point, I pray that the people say enough, and that both sides just say that this can't continue. The temperature can't get that hot. It's a democracy. It's our country. We debate. We're not violence.
Yeah.
I'm not as eloquent as Robby and Meghan.
Meghan and Robby, love for you to pick up on what Ray said.
I agree with the anger. I actually don't. I know peace, love, and understanding is the motto of 2A, and I respect that on some level, but I also think anger has power and it can fuel us to make change. And, I think that there needs to be self-policing as well, in the same way that like anyone on this call, and I know Robby and I are personal friends as well, would call out insanity on the right. It should be called out on the left as well. And we should all be policing each other in that way, like bringing shame to people who behave in such a way. And, the thing that I don't understand is like, I keep hearing people being like, Charlie Kirk was a right wing, whatever. And to me, he was like one of the most like mainstream Republican conservative, like his thoughts are very in line with where the majority of, I'd say like the vast majority, if not more, of Republicans and conservatives are in America. Like the stuff he says, like, again, I don't want to name names, but there's far more flame throwing, radical, extremist, people that exist. And I think part of the reason he has the following he has is because he's very inviting of everybody. Like, and if you were a Democrat 6 seconds ago, but you want to come to him, open arms. And I think that's part of his appeal, and part of the reason why Turning Point has become such a phenomenon is there's a lot of people he'll feel so politically lost that he's given a home to. So like, I think also like, if I could give advice to my friends on the left, which I have, it would be that like, you really should listen to things that people are actually saying before passing judgment. I mean, I even read something today that like someone was calling Barry Weiss a right-wing figure. And I was like, do you even understand what right-wing figure means? And so I'm like sort of just jumbling what I'm speaking, but just to say that he's a phenomenon for a reason, and he has the following he has for a reason. And I think it's because he really understands where the movement of Republicans are, and what he has done for young people is spectacular. It gives me hope. I'm pregnant with a boy right now. I don't really know what to do with boys, and legitimately I was like, I hope Turning Point's still around when he's old, and older, so it can be something I could bring him to. It's like been such a bright light for so many young people in this country, and his work is really, really powerful and really important.
Look, I think Donald Trump helped make young, it cool to be young and vote for Republic. But I think it would not be a stretch to say Charlie Kirk also plays a huge role. And Democrats have asked, like, where's our Charlie Kirk to inspire young people? I think, Meghan, you could argue no one has inspired young people on a sustained basis. Obama had it for a few years since RFK, who inspired a young generation of Democrats to want to go into public service, to engage in the civic center. Again, Obama had a few years, but Charlie Kirk for a decade has been building this movement. Happy warrior, go anywhere, anytime. Okay. Sorry, Mark.
That's okay. The Speaker of the Utah House has told the Deseret News, which is the big paper in the state, that Charlie's dead. Okay. So let us collect ourselves a little bit. I want to play for you a part of the conversation I had with Charlie yesterday on Next Up. Let's just play that, and we'll live with this for a moment. Let's play that, and then we'll talk more about Charlie. Do we have that, guys? I'll ask again. Do we have the sound of my interview with Charlie or not? I'll ask one more time. Do we have the sound of me with Charlie or not?
An incredible story.
We do.
Irina Zarutska. Her life story, I think, will be told both in the United States and Ukraine for years to come. To this country from a war-torn nation, and to be senselessly and brutally killed here is epic and tragic. And the personal piece of it is obviously most important. But there are a lot of bigger themes here, and I've been talking about them on Two-Way and in my writing. What do you think the importance of this story is most fundamentally?
Well, it's multi-faceted. First of which, we covered this story a couple weeks ago when it first happened. This is important for your audience to know, that this is not a couple days old story. It's a couple weeks old. It's just that the footage was released recently. And the footage was so grotesque, and because a lot of people were wondering when the story came out, was there a struggle? Did she have any background with this guy? It was not clear, right? So we just the headline was Ukrainian refugees stabbed to death on mass transit. Like, okay, there might be more to the story. Turns out this was one of the, in my opinion, I've ever seen coldest, most senseless murders I've ever seen. She had no interaction with this guy whatsoever. She was sitting minding her own business, and he just takes out a knife and just decides to stab her. The big component of this, though, is that this was so preventable. He had 14 priors. And one of my passion projects is going to be part of me atoning for my sins in this regard, because I used to be sympathetic and even push for this legislatively in a prior life. Is this whole criminal justice reform stuff has been a complete failure. And a lot of people on the right fell for it, and it was obviously pushed for people on the left, and the Koch brothers put a lot of money behind it. But how many more examples do we need of somebody with 10, 12, 13, 14 priors that then goes and commits a murder? This is not an isolated thing. We now see that this is not, there's some people that have demonstrated that the current model is not able to rehabilitate these people. So I think that is really where I want to focus a lot of my attention, which is, what are we really doing here in regards to this whole fake and fraudulent criminal justice push that we've seen the last 10 years especially? Is it making us safer? Is it making our streets better? And I understand the intention of it. I understand that there's some people that get caught up in that thicket that probably are in jail for too long, or the evidence could have been better weighed. But largely, we do not have enough people in prison in this country. And I can defend that. It's very defensible, actually. Only half of America's murders are even solved. You think about that, Mark. Only half of our murders in our country are solved. That means 50% of our murderers are walking the streets of our cities. we should have more people in prison. Not to mention this guy should have been in prison, and the multiple other situations that are resembling this. And so, look, I do say this with some form of just heaviness. I don't like politicizing situations like this, but it just necessitates it because there are so many dynamics at play here. And then, yes, the other part of this is that based on the information evidence we have, the attacker did say, "I got that white girl." The attacker racialized it in his own telling of this situation. And we all know this. Any honest observer of your program knows this, including Van Jones even knows this deep down, which is that, of course, if a random white person on a subway took out a knife and stabbed a black girl senselessly to death, there would be massive media coverage. There would be policy changes. There would be people having to apologize for this. We saw this in George Floyd, and yet, for whatever reason, this situation has not garnered even a fraction of that kind of outrage or backlash. There's a lot there, Mark, we can explore. But I think there's many implications to this tragic and terrible story.
Yeah, you've laid out some of the most important things. You also referenced Van Jones, a nice guy at CNN, commentator
he is pleasant, actually. Yeah, I agree with you.
He is. Let's listen to what you referenced, which is Van Jones on CNN talking about Charlie.
You could take it down.
That's the part that I think.
You could take it down. Take it down. This platform's for transparency. If you watch cable right now, you'll see the Associated Press report that critical condition. I can tell you that people at the highest levels of the government believe Charlie's passed away. So I hope he hasn't. And I'm not here to break the news. I'm just telling you that we all need to prepare for him to have passed away. And that's the word amongst people at the highest levels of the government. No one wants to be out in front of announcing it. But let's bring in a couple more folks for a reaction. Tell us what's on your mind. And I think we're going to get some news relatively soon. So stand by for that. Let's bring in Bill. Bill, welcome in. You unmute. Tell us what's on your mind.
Bill, you're muted.
Bill, you able to unmute? Try one more time.
There we go. Sorry about that. Two things. One, retired firefighter, paramedic. That was a pretty catastrophic injury from the video that I saw. Thoughts and prayers are out to Charlie and his family on that. About the tone in the nation, I know we keep talking about the tone and all that and how it needs to be both sides, but I think the left, Dan, needs to really take a look in the mirror and really look at the tone.
Bill, hold on for 1 second. I'm going to stop you for two reasons. First of all, there's been video and still circulating of a gentleman taken into custody, and we've heard that eyewitness. The Associated Press now says that authorities say the man taken into custody is not a suspect.
Okay.
And so we don't know who shot Charlie at this point. And Bill, I'm just going to say, I'd like you to choose your words carefully. I'm going to ask that of everybody. Just choose your words carefully, please, because this platform's going to be about trying to bring the nation together around this tragedy.
And that's what I'm really hoping.
Go ahead.
My suggestion is for everybody is we need to take a deep breath. We need to look at this and try to get back to where we were as a nation, where we could have honest and calm and intelligent political discussion and discourse instead of the name calling and firebranding and things of that nature. So I
agree with you, Bill. It's a bipartisan problem.
I agree with that. I agree.
Just look at X and Truth Social on any given day. It's a bipartisan problem. But I agree. I mean, the fact that Trump's been two attempts on his life, Robbie said it, the Minnesota array did, the Minnesota shooting, all these judges being threatened because of rulings that one side doesn't agree with. It's a bipartisan problem in this country. At some point, the electorate is going to reward the temperature going down. Right now, people are angry, and people are angry, and people are rewarded for expressing anger in very strong ways by both sides of the aisle.
And I totally agree with that. And I enjoy political discussion and debate, but I've got people in my neighborhood that I have to turn around and walk away and they're of a certain political value. And I get called a monster.
Yeah.
And, you know, I hate that we have gotten to this point. And I think we as a nation and our leaders need to attempt to tone it down. And, you know, I am a little more on the right side of things. So the comments from the left hurt a little more, but there are on both sides, and we all need to tone it down. And maybe the tragedy of today we can take and use it as a step forward. And I hope that people on both sides up in Washington will take it, because they're the ones who have to calm it down, because they have the biggest microphones.
Bill, thank you. Megan, unmute. Tell us your thoughts, please.
I can't really talk right now. It's just, I agree that we all need to take the temperature down and everything everyone's saying. And obviously you guys do great work, all of you doing that. This is, I will say, just culturally, this is going to be a huge, huge moment. It's a huge moment in history. It's a huge moment in politics. And I just implore everyone who is saying ugly things to be kind. He has 2 young kids. His wife, Erica, is really lovely. They live in Arizona, and she's a former Miss Arizona, and they're just really wonderful people who led a really wonderful lifestyle and inspired a lot of people. And it's just, I'm so sorry. It's just so shocking. And I just, like I said, I'm going to be praying a lot today. I hope you guys are too. I didn't even know if we should like pray on here. It's just horrific. He was the nicest man and so kind to everyone. And really, there were rumors that he was going to run for governor or Senate in Arizona. And I actually thought that was like going to be something really cool. So I'm so sorry to everyone. I'm so sorry to all of you. I'm sorry I'm not more eloquent right now. I think it's just so shocking. So please, Robbie or someone else or Emma Jo, please speak.
Emma Jo, I think you're unmuted.
You can go ahead. We haven't heard from her yet. But she's not there. I would just jump in and say, you know, it is always, especially for journalists, it is always so beneficial to just hold on and take a deep breath before you tweet, before you weigh in, right? We do not know if we have a suspect in custody. We do not know who that. It is, of course, you know, plausible to kind of assume some sort of political motivation because Charlie is a political figure, but we should wait for all the information. And then I want to get past as a society, because I find it psychologically taxing for us all to, when an incident of violence happens, you know, we all kind of go, are we going to find a manifesto that makes my side look bad? Are we going to find a manifesto that makes the other side look bad? Oh, it's going to be non-political. Now it's all like, that's so unhealthy for all of us. And it is going to take everyone saying, again, you know what? Bad actions are being committed, and we got to find strategies to counter that without trying to say, oh, hi, this time it's, you know, it's my people were the victims and you guys are the aggressors. And we just get to a really unhealthy place, while we're still going to be, of course, justifiably not just horrified, but grief-stricken by if this is, you know, politically motivated, or if there is something of that nature. But there will be nothing. I guess my point is nothing will be lost by being cautious before passing any kind of judgment. Everyone just settle down, wait for the whole story, wait for the information, and then proceed from that logically.
Brilliant, Robbie. All 3 of you are brilliant. David, welcome in. Tell folks what's on your mind about Charlie.
Thanks for having me. I guess my point is there's going to be social media we can't control that. There's crazy people on social media. Where I find the biggest fault is elected officials and paid commentators who use vitriolic language. They cause these people who may not be mentally secure to take these kinds of actions, because they look at these people as if they are important people and they've got to stop. We can't have people like Chuck Schumer and, you know, calling out Supreme Court justices. These are the kinds of things that cause this problem. And I'm sure it's on both sides, but It's got to stop.
Unfortunately, David, in the last 30 years, there's become an outrage industrial complex. People have monetized it. It gets them donors, it gets them contributors, it gets them attention, it gets clicks. I mean, it's one of the things two-way is trying to go in the other direction. And it's hard because intense conflict, but I hear you. Everybody, both sides. I'll be curious. When the 2 assassination attempts on Trump were in the middle of a presidential campaign, right? So everyone reflexively tried to game out how is this going to affect November and etc. This is not that.
Okay, so the president just put on Truth Social the following. The great, even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understands or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. So we can now talk about Charlie in the past tense, and we can start to think about not just his personal legacy, which is extraordinary. He elected a president, but again, he's not the most divisive figure on the right, but he's amongst the most divisive figures. He was. And now we're going to have to grapple with the anger and hurt. And my inbox is filled with it from people who knew Charlie well. They're really angry. And as Ray said, good to be angry, but we have to channel this anger into something constructive. This can be an event that tears the country apart, or it can be an event that finds a way to bring us together. And this platform is going to be about the latter, and to try to do what we can. And one thing I'm asking everybody to do, don't start cherry picking MSNBC out of anger. Don't start going on Twitter and saying this is all because of the left. We don't know who did it. And I don't care if the person who did it is a disciple of the far left. I don't care regarding the need to bring the country together. There must be justice, of course, for the murder of such a lovely man, but we cannot make this a moment where the right says, you took Charlie and now we're going to destroy you. We cannot make it. It cannot be that. And I can say, and Megan used the language before, I can say that Charlie definitely would not have wanted that. As much as a warrior of the right that he was, please do not make this on the right a moment to kill the left. Don't do it. Do it. Okay. Jeff, welcome in. Tell folks what's on your mind, please.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted now. So to state the obvious, I mean, just so young, saw pictures of Charlie Kirk, his wife and his kids. Beautiful. I'll just make a quick point, and that is it's hard to understand. I love programs like yours, Mark. It's hard to understand why so many people seem to feel so threatened and the reactions to feeling threatened. You mentioned I'm sure, Charlie Kirk was divisive every time I saw him on your show, actually yesterday as well. Reasonable, certainly challenging, but what I would invite everybody to share their opinions on is why do people seem to lose their minds when simply feeling threatened by a different way of thinking? Thanks for everything that you and your team does.
Thank you. Grateful to you. Thank you. Let's try to go to Emma. Hopefully her signal's good enough. Emma, go ahead.
Hey, I think this is working. I hope it's working. I'm in the car. I'm sorry. Such a sad thing. Just such a sad thing that there's like I can't even imagine it. There's photos of his children out there, and it's just I can't imagine it. Charlie was such a good guy. There's two stories about Charlie that stick out to me when I think about him. And they are such a testament to him that I experienced in my relationship with him. And the first one was he invited me to speak at a women's leadership conference in Dallas, Texas. And the topic of the panel that I was on was being a conservative in a liberal city. And I was on the panel with Libby Emmons and Carol Markowitz from the Post, and something about faith came up, and finding a house of worship that aligns with your values in a place where there aren't a lot of people in a community with your values. And I guess I obviously talked about going to synagogue because I'm Jewish, and there was apparently it was, I guess, like a kind of a Christian themed conference or something, and some people were not happy that they saw it as kind of advocating for a religion other than Christianity or whatever, and people were complaining to Charlie, and Charlie just totally stood up for me.
Mark, you're muted.
And we're going to wait for Emma to get someplace where she's got a good signal, because I want to hear those stories, and I don't want them to be interrupted like that. So we'll wait. I think Emma's going to be someplace soon, or we'll maybe hear her better. So let's bring in some more folks. Alan, welcome in. Tell folks what's on your mind about Charlie and about America, and now we're going to deal with this. Go ahead.
I'm Alan from Tallahassee. Just This is heartbreaking. It's just digesting everything right now. So I'm sorry. I'm pretty broken up.
I think we probably should divorce ourselves to you.
I love the fact that Charlie engaged young people. I have a 19-year-old daughter who started watching him, and it sort of helped her develop her thinking on things. This is very sad. I'm very infuriated right now. And I'm trying to do peace, love, and understanding, and it's very, very hard right now. I want to direct my anger in the right direction. It's just with, there's violence on both sides, and however, with all the craziness that's been going on since Trump's been elected, with political violence, and everyone's just passively dismissing it and not standing up or saying a word or excusing it, and now everyone's standing up now. It's just very frustrating to me. That's all I'm going to say. I can't keep myself composed, but thank you for letting me share. I appreciate it.
Mark, you're muted.
Thank you, Alan. Kathleen, are you able to unmute? Kathleen, there you go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I raise my hand? I didn't mean to.
Oh, okay. You did.
Sorry.
You
No,
did.
I'm in
That's
Salt
okay.
Lake City, and so I'm kind of shocked about this because it just happened like 45 minutes away from me. So I thought I would jump on and see what's going on.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Sorry about that. I thought you had your hand up. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Rob, welcome in.
Sorry, I was just saying, Mark, sorry, I got unmuted. If I can continue the story about Charlie.
Emma, how far are you from a non-moving
It wasn't my signal. It was just that I hit a button by accident and then couldn't unmute myself because of the setting.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry about that.
But Emma, I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you to wait. I just don't want you to tell the story with the signal interrupted like that. So we'll ask Emma to get someplace and call back. Maybe at 6 o'clock. Rob, welcome in. Unmute. Go ahead, Rob.
Thanks. I just want to, it's so upsetting. And Mark, I really enjoyed your interview with Charlie last night. I don't agree with everything he ever said, but I want to encourage everyone to remember that there are forces in the world that want us to overreact and be violent to one another because of this murder. And we need to keep calm, and we need to keep this platform and conversation going, because there's lots of nefarious forces out there, and this is what they want us to do. They want to divide us, and they want to tear down what I think all Americans really believe in at their core. And so don't let them win. That's really all I wanted to say. Don't let them win. We've got to keep calm.
Thank you for that. Dan, thoughts?
It's really well said. I mean, it breaks my heart to hear the way the knives are coming out on both sides right now, seeing it on, like, I've turned X off. I can't even look at it right now. And you just see it. And I think you're right. You hope the best comes out of people, not the worst.
And to echo what you said, I think it's so important to remember, even in moments like this, or especially moments like this, political violence in this country has been blessedly rare. There's too much violence in America, but political violence is one of the least categories of violence, the least reasons people are hurting each other. Now, I understand being afraid that we are at the end of that kind of trajectory and it's increasing, and that should be monitored and fought against very, very strongly. But we should never think problems are worse than they are at the point they are, and it remains not a common thing, but we certainly don't want it to get more common, and this will make people justifiably worried that that's the case.
Yeah, Rob, thank you. Grateful for you for coming on. Okay,
look,
so
I got my start in politics. First candidate I worked for was a Kennedy. And every November and every June, we took the day off, and the family went into mourning. And it was, it reminded you of violence in this country.
I know a lot of you know this, but there are very few people in the life of the president and the vice president, and so many other people, including young people. But I'm just talking about the president and vice president. There are very few people about who they feel as emotional as they feel about Charlie. So this is going to be a very long process. There's going to be so much done in his name and in his memory and in his family. There's going to be so much discussion of his legacy. And there's going to be a challenge that all of us will face to try to make this into something as best we can that's not, that doesn't rip the country apart, and hopefully will be positive. So we're going to break now. And go prepare for 2A tonight in about an hour. I hope Dan, Robbie, Megan, I hope you all can come back, at least for part of the hour. We'd love to have you. And we'll know more, I think, then based on my inbox says about what has happened. And we'll have a full conversation about it. I'll show you a little bit more of my interview. You can go watch the whole thing if you want on Next Up. Charlie did a number of interviews yesterday. I believe he did 2 interviews on Fox as well as an interview with me. But I am going to tomorrow on Next Up play large segments of the interviews I've done with Charlie, both on 2-Way and on Next Up, including conversation I had with him that I'm proud of about what he did in the election and why his skills were so special. So please join us in 1 hour, 6 Eastern time on 2-Way. My colleagues and I will be back, and we'll give you the best information we have, and continue to collate and sample, aggregate from the other places. And then Dan, Sean, and I will be on 9 a.m. tomorrow, and then more coverage throughout the day. But very grateful for those of you who participated, and Robbie and Dan and Megan and Emma, Joe, also articulate and thoughtful, and all of you raised your hands to speak. And I'll see you in 1 hour right here. Thank you for watching.